Hey, it's me, your legs. I know that we got to get moving and grooving. And I know it might be hot where you are and maybe you're tired, maybe you don't want to do it. But look, it's in my best interest. It's in your best interest. How about to make this a little bit more palatable? We team up with my good pals, the ears. And while we're getting us moving, we can listen to an episode of this podcast. Before we continue my first ever journey through the Harry Potter series, just a few quick announcements. First, if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, Monday, July 31st, I will be in Chicago this weekend for LeakyCon. I will be doing stuff every single day. I believe Potterless and the New Olympian Live will be on Friday, but I will be doing some other things on Saturday and Sunday as well. I'll be on podcasting panels and potentially hosting interviews. Things aren't 100% locked in scheduling wise just yet because they had some cool guests added last minute and they're trying to move some stuff around to make it all work. But I will be there doing something every single day. So come through and say hello. I'll be representing Potterless. I'll be representing the New Olympian, and I'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff for LeakyCon. So you can go see me there. I believe if you use the promo code Potterless, you get 10% off, but I'm not 100% positive. But that is going on. And then I will also be doing Potterless live shows in the somewhat near future. In December, I'm going to be doing a run of shows in Dallas and Austin and San Antonio and maybe Houston. The maybe Houston show and the definitely happening Dallas show will be just the New Olympian, since I've performed Potterless there before. My policy with touring and shows going forward is that if it's a new city, I do half Potterless, half TNO. If it's a city where I've done Potterless before, then I'm just doing TNO. But Austin and San Antonio would qualify for that half and half policy. So if you want to see Potterless live, you can go to those shows. Tickets are not live yet, just wanted to give the heads up. And then I have some other shows coming up in the more near future, but those are just TNO. But if you want to see me doing some nerdy book podcast stuff live, come on through. I'm going to be in Chicago outside of LeakyCon and Milwaukee and Minneapolis in August. In late September, I'll be in DC. And then in late October, I'll be in Philly and New York City. So you can get tickets to all of those things on my personal website. It's Schubs, schub.es/tour. So check that out and come through. Something else I want to mention about this episode is that I recently brought Potterless over to a new hosting site. And if you've been following along with the New Olympian, you know I'm having some issues with audio skipping and repeating. And one way that I'm looking into solving it is seeing if this hosting site that I'm now hosting Potterless on, if that doesn't have that issue. So if you're listening to this episode on Spotify, at the very end, there will be a poll where you can say whether or not you had any sort of audio issue. The issue that we've been having on TNO, it will repeat audio that happened earlier in the episode, like halfway through or so. I've been trying to fix it for months and it just isn't working. So I'm trying to find some other solutions. So if you could please fill out that survey at the end, whether you had audio issues or if you didn't have audio issues, please just let me know. And then I can decide if maybe I should bring the New Olympian over to this hosting site that's only on Spotify. If you're not listening on Spotify, don't worry about it. Now, what will you be listening to in this episode? It is a live show that I did with Eric Hamilton Schneider in Asbury Park, New Jersey, about a year ago. It was wonderful. My Aunt Judy was there. Kelly was there. It was a delightful, delightful time and a really fun show. This was us really starting to come into the groove of doing the Wizard on Survivor that I did a whole bunch while on tour. And I think that we really started to figure out the format of doing local challenges and stuff here. And then the future iterations had much more crowd interaction, but we really started to find the groove of the format here, which was really nice. And it was just a super fun show with a really fun Q&A. And I think you will enjoy it. So without further ado, let's get into that live show where we do the New Jersey edition of Wizard on Survivor with our very special guest, Eric Hamilton Schneider.
Oh my gosh! I am so excited to be here in my home state. Let's make some noise. Let's make some noise. Welcome to Potterless Live, New Jersey. How's it going? Woo! I am so excited to be here in my beloved home state. When my tour manager said that there was a place in Asbury Park that wanted to do a live show, I've never replied to an email all caps, yes, faster. How's it going, everyone? You doing well? Having fun? Good Saturday night vibes? Yeah? Cool. Ooh, look at all those wonderful faces. So, I'm very excited to be performing here, and I'm also very excited to do specifically what we are doing here tonight. So, we've done various fun things in the Harry Potter world, little fun improvised bits and such. We've done a few rounds of Wizard on Survivor, but never have we gone and put Harry Potter characters through more grueling of a gauntlet than we will tonight, which is Wizard on Survivor New Jersey edition. I have gone all in, and to anyone listening to the podcast afterwards, if you're confused by all of the New Jersey references that I'm gonna make for the next hour and a half or so, too bad! I'm in my home state, I'm catering to the crowd. If you turn off the podcast, so be it! But we are going to be putting some Harry Potter characters through a New Jersey-themed gauntlet, but we're not going to be doing it alone. I don't want to be biased. I want to have someone not from New Jersey so that we can balance everything out. So please welcome to the stage my good friend, Eric Hamilton Schneider. Hello, hello. Yes, and it's all real. It's all real $100 bills.
Hello, Mike.
How's it going?
Good. I'm happy to be here from Ohio,
Yes.
not New Jersey. Ohio, probably the most memeable state, and New Jersey, one of the most made fun of states. So I feel like I have some camaraderie
Yes.
between Ohio and New Jersey.
We have
here,
the
so-
connection.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
you can understand the pain of being the butts of jokes for
Yeah.
no good reason.
Well, some good reasons, but mostly no good reason. Yeah.
For sure. Do you have any New Jersey experience? Have you been here before? Is this your first time? Have you enjoyed our wonderful adventure, which was driving through traffic and rain?
Yeah, I have once before driven through New Jersey, and we had to find a gas station very late at night that was open so that someone could pump our gas. Not even a joke. Just literally, we were driving to New York City. We were running out of gas, and we were in New Jersey. It was like we gotta find one that's open, and that was it.
Yeah.
And it was a lovely experience. Very, just like a real deadbeat working at the gas station at like 11:30 p.m. and he did his job great.
Great, amazing. We had the full experience where we had to get gas on the way here, and I was like, oh, I'm in New Jersey. I have to do the thing. So we've done it. Now, what we're going to be doing here is Wizard on Survivor. Are you a big Survivor guy?
I am a recent big Survivor guy.
Okay.
I got into it during the pandemic. I have enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun.
Are there particular seasons that you're a fan of, particular aspects of it?
I haven't watched enough seasons to like start ranking them.
Okay.
But I would say I think the whole, just like the merge is such an interesting part of it. So I
Yes.
think that's going to be one of the more interesting parts. But yeah, I think the balance of everything and how you have to convince the people you were playing with, that's one of the more interesting parts at the very end. Yeah.
Cool. Well, the merge is going to be very exciting in this one because the way I've set up the teams, when I think of New Jersey, at least for me, my childhood, it's all about my family. So I tried to think of what would be a fun family. Speaking of family, my Aunt Judy's in the crowd tonight. Got to give a shout out to Aunt Judy.
And Judy!
Nearly 80 years young in the crowd. Looked up Harry Potter stuff before attending the show so that she could kind of understand what was going on. Don't worry, Aunt Judy, I got you. And Kelly is next to you to translate any joke that goes over your head. So when I think of New Jersey, I think of family. So what I have decided to do is that this batch of contestants on Survivor, it's going to be a family battle of Team Weasley versus Team Malfoy. Now, there are 9 Weasleys. That was easy. There are not 9 Malfoys, so I had to get creative. The Weasleys that we have here are Fred, Ron, Arthur, Molly, Bill, Charlie, Percy, Ginny, and George. So they're all here. Every Weasley represented, even Percy. Ugh.
Uh-oh.
Now, on the Malfoy side, we have Draco, we have Lucius, we have Narcissa, we have Bellatrix because she's Narcissa's sister, we have Snape because, you know, he's close enough in there. Unbreakable Bond. We have
I
Uncle
do want to, hold on, before you continue though, the picture of Snape you have is actually just Hans Gruber.
Yes.
Yeah. You couldn't find a picture of Severus Snape on the internet in 2022?
No, but I wanted to get the Hans Gruber one so
Okay,
that,
I
you
mean,
know.
I love it. It's very nice.
It's my favorite Alan Rickman role, and movie Snape is basically a different character anyway, so
True,
why
true.
not? Now, past Snape, we also have Uncle Voldemort. We also have Crabbe and Goyle, because they're basically the siblings of Draco. And then we also have Pansy Parkinson, because I figured, yeah, that is Team Malfoy. Now, also, we have the host of this, instead of being Jeff Probst, who I do love and think is fantastic, Instead, for this, especially because the live show is here in Asbury Park, it's Bruce Springsteen, who is just, a wizard of rock and New Jersey, so our patron saint will be the host of the show. Will that affect anything that happens in the show? No. But just imagine Bruce there. Just the boss. And this is like good era Bruce.
Is he like doing a little spell to put out the stick? What's the stick with the flame on it called? A torch? There it is.
Yeah. I would like that. And I would love it if maybe his wand looks like a tiny little guitar. Like it's got some sort of like Stratocaster vibes. But we're definitely talking like good era Bruce. Yeah. Oh,
inside.
Yeah. Guitar string core. Very good joke that I didn't think of. But yeah, definitely like rock Bruce, not I do a podcast with Barack Obama now Bruce. What's going on, Bruce? I don't know. So the way Survivor works, in case you've not seen Survivor, don't worry. At least for what we've got going on here, is we're going to have 8 team tasks where they go off as teams. That can possibly happen. I have 8 solo tasks that can possibly happen. If the teams get too lopsided, then we'll do the merge. So there's no set time when the merge has to happen. But what we'll be doing for the purposes of the show is I've got these prepared events. I'll do a random number generator to determine what number event happens so that it is proof that it's all improvised. Eric does not know what the things are. I've not told him ahead of time.
No idea.
So it's all a fun surprise. They are all...
I didn't know I was going to be here 5 days ago.
Yeah,
so
this was a recent switch.
Extremely not prepared.
And they're all incredibly New Jersey themed. Then we'll just have them do the challenge. Whoever wins is safe. The losing team has to vote someone off of the island, and then we'll move on to the next week. Eric and I will be making the choices, but if we get really stuck between some folks, who's going to stay, who's going to go, we might turn it over to the audience for the applause-o-meter. So that's how we're going to go.
Now I am seeing immediately that Harry Potter has gotten his name into the Goblet of Fire. What does that mean?
Did I put that?
Is that going to be an issue? Is he entered and now he's officially has to do it because there's no way around that?
Did I put Harry in here somewhere?
No, I'm making a Harry Potter entry.
Oh, okay. You were looking so good. You did such a good job of acting. I thought I messed up my own notes. Well done, sir. I am proud of you. That was incredible.
Sorry, I'll be less funny going forward.
Okay, now I realized that I was going to roll a D8 dice that I left backstage for the 1 through 8 of it all. So
someone yell out a number between 1 and 8.
Thank you.
5.
Cool. 5. Great.
5.
Yeah, now we're getting the crowd involved. Perfect. Okay, so everyone has been welcomed in. Let's just say, since we're here in Asbury Park, they meet up in Asbury Park. All the wizards, very confused.
Extremely.
Bruce in his element. He lets them know, oh, what a great one to start it off. So the first task that they have to complete, sometimes Survivor, instead of doing physical challenges, they do puzzles, memory-based challenges. So this is a memory challenge. They go to the shore, and there are a bunch of people from New Jersey. And first, Bruce talks to them all, and he has these people say what part of Jersey they're from, north, south, or central, which does exist. Let's go! Some people like to say Central Jersey doesn't exist, which is false. Yeah. These people explain to the wizards if they are from North, South, or Central. And then Bruce explains that in North Jersey, they call it Taylor ham. And in South and Central Jersey, or at least where I was in Central Jersey, they call it pork roll. So now there's a memory challenge afterwards where the people have to remember what part of New Jersey the Muggles said they were from and what they would refer to as the greatest sandwich in the state. Have you ever had pork roll before?
I don't think so.
All right, we'll try to fix that. Yeah. It is like if ham and bacon had a kid, and it was the unhealthiest components of both.
No,
put
I definitely
together.
haven't had one, but they sound amazing.
They're very, very tasty. So it's basically just a memory challenge. We've got the team. It's the Weasleys working together as a team. It's the Malfoys working together as a team. What team do we think would fare better in a memory challenge-based event?
I mean, a lot more of the Weasleys have like academic accolades.
Right.
I mean, you've got at least how many prefects in there? The whole bunch.
Mm-hmm. And Ron in there in the mix too.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah. And I don't see the baddies having. I mean, Crabbe and Goyle
No.
They'll eat
Not
whatever
academic
sandwich
powerhouses.
they come across. They don't care. They're forgetting that immediately.
They heard sandwich and they were like, huh?
Like, yeah. I'm sure they spend most of their time in the food hall anyways. Yeah, I'm gonna say the Weasleys. I'm gonna say the Weasleys.
I think they would too.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is Voldemort would just be like, they're all muggles, I don't care. Like, he wouldn't
Well, yeah,
listen to
yeah.
anything. I feel like that's a lot of the Malfoys would just be like, I'm not listening to anything. If I hear what the dirty muggles say, my ears will get dirty. So I agree. I think, okay, so we've got Weasley team wins the first round, meaning that the Malfoy clan has to vote someone out. Do we think there's initial alliances going on? Recap, we've got Draco, Lucius, Narcissa, Bellatrix, Snape, and Voldemort, Crabbe, Goyle, Pansy, Parkinson.
Are there gonna be any moments where like a member from both teams go off and have to like make a decision together? Are we building that in?
I don't think we're gonna get to that. Like, we can have some, we can definitely
Because I just see like
take that into account
because I just see like Severus and Bellatrix are definitely like gonna weasel their way to like winning at the end.
Sure,
So they're gonna
very
turn on
crafty.
each other at some point.
Ooh, yeah,
for
they see the threat ahead.
But they're too powerful to be like the first people out. It's gonna be one of the kids.
Right.
But I don't know. Obviously, Draco's got mommy and daddy here, so he's protected for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either Crabbe, Goyle, or Patty.
Pansy.
Pansy.
Shows testament to how weak of a contestant it is. Can't even know her name.
Also, I haven't read the books in a long time.
Me neither.
So, yeah. I mean, probably Pansy. I mean, she's kind of the one that we just threw out here. And I mean, Crabbe's gonna protect Goyle, same the other way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think she's getting the votes. I think everyone would have their small little alliances, and she's going out.
That's what I would agree. The other thing that I think is important with keeping Crabbe and Goyle there is that Draco knows he can keep them under his thumb, so he wants to keep them around for like voting block power.
Of course.
So he wouldn't want to get rid of them too soon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Pansy is gone. Everyone is sad. All the Pansy stands have left the show. Leaving in droves. Okay, so that one has been complete. Give me another number.
I actually voted her out because I didn't want to forget her name again. Embarrassing myself.
For the benefit of the show. Okay, so say number 2, 1, and 8 that is not 5. Cool, I heard 3 first. Okay, a great team challenge. So, in this case, they take them to a field, just big open field. There's wonderful trees and all this stuff. And
What part of Jersey is this?
let's go with, it's in East Brunswick. Anyone? Okay, maybe. What about West Windsor? Okay, it's in West Windsor because those 2 folks in the front are clearly from West Windsor. So they're in the fields of West Windsor. I played Little League Baseball against them sometimes. In the fields of West Windsor, they have a game set up, and it is Capture the Flag, but it is a variant. Now, we have the Weasleys are taking the moniker of Team Tesla, and the Malfoys are taking the moniker of Team Edison. And what Team Edison is trying to do is capture the flag, or the idea for the light bulb, from Nikola Tesla. So our wonderful guy that as kids we were all like, yay, Thomas Edison's from our state. And then we got older and we're like, oh no, Thomas Edison sucks shit. The Weasley team is running defense. The Malfoy team is running offense to try to steal the flag in a capture the flag game. How do we think the teams would fare in this capture the flag, but really steal the patent for the light bulb?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Malfoys have this. They've got more adults, but also like the overall force on magic over here is just way. It's much higher. It's just simply much higher. I mean, the Dark Lord, and then everybody else. I mean, that alone.
Well, and Bellatrix has experience breaking into Hogwarts in the 6th book.
I mean, presumably Draco has a thing that lets him teleport through places.
The hand of darkness or whatever?
Oh, no, the cabinet thing.
Oh, the vanishing cabinet. Yes, you're right.
Yes. So, like, I mean, he's got that. That could maybe help. Get him
Yeah.
right in there.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think they're going to take it.
Well, just like Edison stole from Tesla, the Malfoys have stolen the flag from the Weasleys, and then the Weasley team is not the victor. They have to vote someone off the island. Who do you think is going home, and why is it Percy Weasley?
Oh. I mean, but like...
Or is it not Percy?
I mean, it could be Percy. I know we hate Percy here. Everyone hates Percy. But, I mean, and this might be bold.
Ooh.
How good is Arthur in this whole situation?
Ooh. Okay.
Okay. You know what? No, I'm taking it back because I'm thinking about it. If there's any more Muggle-based challenges, he's going to shine there.
That's
So
true.
that's going to be the thing keeping him alive for a while. But as soon as like Muggle knowledge is no longer beneficial, like once the big guy on Survivor is like just winning every single immunity challenge, then you
Colby,
take him
if
out.
you will.
Yeah, and if you've got the opposite thing here, like once the knowledge of being of Muggle stuff, I guess so. Arthur's probably safe actually.
And what I do have to say, because my wife Kelly is pretty into Survivor, where she's watched a bunch of Netflix seasons and Hulu seasons, is that there is, I guess, a Survivor industry term for when you're very good at the tasks, and it's called Challenge Beast. And that is like the technical term. And when Kelly is talking about either characters or people on or whatever, with no sense of irony, she'll just be like, oh, well, he's a challenge beast. So naturally, like just in a sentence, like it's not a wild thing to say with a straight face. So no, I think that's valid because when you're in the team stage, you want to win. So you want to keep those people who are valuable around. And if there is another Muggle-based thing, could be pretty helpful. I don't know what knowing things about cauldron bottom thickness will bring to the table. So I don't know how useful Percy Weasley is.
Yeah, let's get rid of him.
Okay, we're gonna get rid of him. For everyone knowing, the photo I did put of him was Chris Rankin, just like regular Chris Rankin, not Percy Weasley.
Just a regular
just
guy.
so that I would be happier. So now, okay, we've lost one from each, and we can move on to another team task. Give me another number between 1 and 8 that is not 5 or 3. 2 is the first thing I heard. Ooh, this one takes place in Mercer County, where I'm from. Whoa, Mercer County represent. So this is another more academic, brainy challenge. They are taken to the wonderfully famous, but I forget the official name of it, the Grounds for Sculpture. The big...
Sounds lovely.
It's a very nice park where it's a mix of nature and sculpture. It's kind of like if you've ever been to Storm King in New York, but just more condensed. So the sculptures per square mile is way higher. So obviously it's better. But it's just this nice big park. You can walk around and see these really intricate giant sculptures all within the trees, very pretty. Now, they are in this park, and what they have to do, a lot of times in Survivor, people do these like giant big puzzles where they have to turn and rotate various like wooden pieces to put. If you've ever watched Legends of the Hidden Temple, think of the Shrine of the Silver Monkey, but like somehow harder than the hardest thing in the world, the Shrine of the Silver Monkey. So they got to put together all these different puzzle pieces to make the mini versions of the giant sculptures at the Grounds for Sculpture. Who do we think of these two teams would bring it to the table in a sculpture building contest?
Let's see.
Yeah, 3D puzzle work.
3D
Initially,
puzzle work.
I feel like Bill's pretty brainy.
Yeah.
I feel like Molly probably good with arts and crafts and stuff.
Does he have the dragon with him?
So that's Charlie.
Well, no, I know. But he has a dragon in the photo.
Charlie has a dragon, yes.
Does he have the dragon with him?
I mean, yes.
That's not going to be helpful if this challenge. I was just wondering for future
I
information.
don't think you can separate dragons from Charlie.
Yeah.
It is one of the things we know about him. No, 2 things. He's buff and he likes dragons. That's where it starts and ends.
I feel like this is a pretty even split. I can see both teams being relatively good. I don't know, like, is magic going to be helpful here? I don't really know.
I think it's purely just brain space and crafty work.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's, I maybe we let the audience.
We could.
About
the
this
one final
what do you
thing,
think?
the only thing that I would note is that when you think about the Death Eaters, when they kind of overtook the Ministry of Magic, they did commission the big scary statue where it was like all of the people, like it was like a chair out of muggles and then people sat. So I feel like Death Eaters and Malfoy-related folk have more of a keen eye for sculptures. And like, if you went into the Malfoy Manor, I am certain that they would have weird, probably racist statues everywhere.
Okay, but counterpoint, because now I've changed my mind. I now have a strong opinion.
Okay.
The Weasley house.
Oh.
I mean, that is already a crazy 3D sculpture.
Okay.
I think I got to give it to the Weasley. I mean, because we don't know who the evil guys made that statue. Maybe they made former Ministry people just do it.
Okay.
But the Weasleys made that house by hand. So
I think we both made good points. We're evenly split.
Yes.
Let's turn to the audience. If you think that the Weasleys would win this, make some noise. Okay. If you think the Malfoys would win this, make some noise. Not as loud. The Weasleys are victorious. Okay. So that means Team Malfoy has to vote someone off the island. Remaining is Draco, Lucius, Narcissa, Bellatrix, Snape, Voldemort, and Crabbe and Goyle.
My immediate thought is maybe Lucius.
Okay.
Yeah, you've got the Patriarch So he's important, and I think you might get like this voting block right in the middle here of
Where we got-
Voldemort, Snape. I keep seeing Hans Gruber, and it's gonna throw me off every time I see it. I was like, who is that? And Bellatrix, I feel like they're gonna like be like, you know who's gonna be a threat? He's a powerful wizard. He's got his son. He's got his wife with him. Like, we got to take him out. I think Lucius might be the person to go.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think Bellatrix would want to use this as an opportunity to get Daddy gone so that she can try, or maybe even Voldemort thinks like, I've tricked Draco in the past. If I get his dad, and then maybe he wants to get Narcissa
Exactly,
out
because
later.
you're gonna want to get Draco under your thumb for that crab and goyle votes.
Okay,
So yeah, I
all right.
think it's Lucius.
Okay, Lucius is gone. Rip, rip, rip. Hair enthusiasts have all left the show. All right, and we can move on to our next team task. Can I get a number between 1 and 8 that is not 2, 3, or 5? I heard 4
also heard
first.
4.
Great, okay. This one, little different, more historic. They go over to the Delaware River. Poorly named. Why isn't it the New Jersey River? Always bugged me that the crossing of the Delaware, a New Jersey thing, was called crossing of the Delaware. This is what this task is all centered around. This is the most physical challenge we have had quite yet. It is just each team in a boat where they have to cross the Delaware, but the boat has a hole in it. So they have to deal with shoveling out water. Really a teamwork-centered thing. First team to get across the Delaware. And of course, they all have to make the pose as they cross the finish line from the famous painting. Who do we think would do
Can we talk about who's doing the famous pose on each team?
Yes.
I mean, it's definitely Voldemort.
Voldemort, obviously.
Definitely Voldemort on that team.
1000%.
Yeah, and then, I mean, I think it's probably Ron. I think Ron would like just get it because he's like, this would be a funny thing to do.
Here's what I think would happen.
Okay, yeah.
All of the Weasleys would say that Ron could do it, but secretly Fred has tricked it to where he's like, they're like, yeah, Ron, you can do the pose. And then just before he gets on, Fred does it instead to sweep the rug
Yeah,
out.
no, that tracks, that
just
tracks.
get his hopes up and crushing him. Who do we think of the two teams? I do feel like Voldemort, by being a leader, is pretty good about delegating and bossing people around.
Yes.
So he might do a good job of ordering folks to have their particular jobs. I feel like he runs a tight
But he's
ship.
gonna hit morale. Morale's gonna go down if Voldemort's ordering you around for sure. So that could be a factor.
Weasleys, there might be a bit of family bickering.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it might be a little too.
Yeah, I think their
Butting of
their
heads.
bickering would be more of an issue than just like being scared of how evil Voldemort is.
Okay.
So yeah, I think the Malfoys would get it.
Okay, so the Malfoys, they, under the leadership of George Voldemortshington, they find their way across the Delaware, meaning the Weasleys have to vote someone off of the state. I was going to say the island, but it's not an island. They got to vote someone out of New Jersey. Remaining is Fred, Ron, Arthur, Molly, Bill, Charlie, George, and Ginny.
Gosh, this is tough. This is tough. Do you have immediate thoughts?
I don't know how well beloved Bill is by the
Yeah,
family.
But he's got the dragon.
And then Charlie's got the dragon.
Should have read that book one more time before I came on this.
In your defense, Charlie is barely in the books at all.
Yeah, I know.
So much so
Yeah,
that this
that's
is
the thing.
fan art of Charlie
Yes.
because there's only like
Yes,
one image
yes,
of him in a
yes.
group photo.
Yes.
Yeah, I do feel like it would probably be between Bill and Charlie because I feel like Fred and George, clear voting block.
Yeah.
I feel like Molly and Arthur,
The
probably
other one's a
voting
werewolf,
block.
right?
Yeah, Bill was attacked by...
But he didn't become a werewolf?
Didn't become one. Just
Oh,
got...
that's a shame.
He got slashed up. He got slashed up by Fenrir Greyback,
Right,
who is a
okay.
cannibal werewolf.
Right.
Specifically, a children cannibal werewolf, the best variant.
A fun book for the under 17 block. Yeah, maybe Bill then. Yeah. I still think, yeah.
I would say it's probably between Bill and Charlie, and the
Yeah.
reason they'd want to keep Charlie around, challenge beast, he's ripped. They would want to keep him around for another
Yeah.
physical challenge. I do think Bill is going to go. He just works for the bank. So,
Yeah.
like,
He also looks like he's up to something in this photo you've picked. And you can't- sometimes just the wrong look is
Wrong vibe.
enough to get you voted
all right, well, he is gone. We can move into the next team challenge. Can I get a number between 1 and 8? Okay, great. 7. Cool. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. This is a fun one, inspired by field trips that I went to in K through 8 school. Shout out to St. Gregory the Great School. Is the person clapping? Did you go there? Okay, cool. Like, what? It was one of my friends here. So, they go to And it's funny because I remember going here, but I was a kid on a bus, so I actually have no idea what city this is in. Because I moved out of New Jersey when I was 14, so I never drove anywhere, so I don't really know where anything is. But they go to the Liberty Science Center. Did everyone else go there in 5th grade like I did? Okay. It's just a really cool, like, interactive
Everyone
music.
loves a kid science center. They're
Yeah.
great. They're so good.
It's so good. Jersey City, thank you very much. An aptly named town. So they go up to Jersey City and they go to the Liberty Science Center. And the task that Bruce Springsteen lays out for all of them, he's still the host, can't forget. Bruce drives up in a pink Cadillac and he lets them know that what they need to do is they just need to have a fun day in the Liberty Science Center. Whatever team can then rattle off the most things that they learned today in the Liberty Science Center wins. So whatever team obtains the most knowledge from the Liberty Science Center is victorious. Which team do you think would do well?
I mean, I've already said Arthur has the Muggle knowledge.
I
so
feel like
that-
Arthur is in heaven.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, literally, he's like, wow, they should build science centers in the UK. It's the first time I've ever seen one of these.
Do they even have any in the UK?
Surely.
I
have science.
I guess
think they like invented science. Isn't that where the isn't that where Newton had the apple
Yeah.
fell? Is that's like the start of science? I'm pretty sure. No one knew anything.
I guess the
that.
problem is like all the buildings in the UK are so old and historic that they can't do the thing where I was in Minneapolis/St. Paul for a show, and their science center is so cool. It's made to look like dinosaurs are trying to break into the science center. So it's just like a one with like a brontosaurus like sticking its head through the window and like a stegosaurus like busting out of the side. Super cool.
Yeah, the one in Cleveland has an OmniMax theater, but it's like it's enclosed in a globe, so it looks kind of like a spaceship. It's real cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
The Liberty Science Center also has some big globe dome looking
Yeah,
IMAX thing
very
too,
nice.
so very on brand. Yeah, I feel like
I mean-
Arthur just absolutely wins this single-handedly for
I
Team
don't think
Weasley.
we need to even talk about
Great.
Malfoys. Yeah.
Let's talk about what Malfoy's going home. I feel like Crabbe and Goyle probably did horribly, and everyone is
Yeah.
pissed, and one of them has to go home.
Yeah.
Which of the two actors was the one that got caught doing drugs?
Yeah.
Was that, does anyone know, was that Crabbe or Goyle? It was Crabbe?
It was Crabbe.
Okay. And Crabbe was also the one in the book who did Fiend Fire and died, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably vote Crabbe home because he's
Yeah.
more incompetent.
Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense. That makes sense.
Cool. Crabbe, who I think is this one.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
which one was Crabbe and which one was going? Because I'm like,
I'm pretty sure that one's
Yeah.
Goyle because I did it second. Because when I made
Sure.
the thing,
Yeah,
I did it
Crabbe, Goyle,
alphabetically.
yeah.
So yeah, Crabbe is
I
gone.
actually, well, you used this one photo of both of them together, and I didn't know that they were actually two separate photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, those
Very
are
nice.
two individual photos. Now, that means we can move on to the next one. And I need a number that is either 1, 6, or 8. 8 is the first thing that I heard. Okay. Oh, nice. This is perfect because this goes along, it's not a field trip, but it is a thing my parents, and by parents I mean my dad, Joel P. Schubert, would make us do on rainy days. Now, in the summer, my grandpa lived in Lavalette, and that's where Aunt Judy was as well. So we had this great thing where, like, Friday after work, we would drive up to the shore, have dinner with Pop-Pop and Aunt Judy, sleep, wake up, have breakfast, have a wonderful time. I would have a nice big bowl of puffed rice cereal with my Pop-Pop. My dad would also go out and get baked goods and stuff. We'd have crumb buns and all this stuff from Park Bakery. And then we'd go to the beach with my longtime family friends, the Delaney's. Now, if it rained, we wouldn't go to the beach, and we would try to do other fun things. Fun in big air quotes, because a couple of times we would go to lighthouses. Not fun.
I love lighthouses.
Do you? Tell me why.
Not a bit, not a bit. I love lighthouses. I've climbed every lighthouse in the Outer Banks. I love doing it. It's a blast. They're just tall guys. It's nice. You get a beautiful view when you get up top. Lovely. Like, I wish if I was in the 1800s I could be a lighthouse keeper. The original work from home. I mean, just like, no joke. I love them. I love lighthouses. So
okay.
like, we're coming at this from very different.
I guess the problem for me is that the only time I went to a lighthouse was when we couldn't go to the beach
No,
and
that-
have
that is
fun
a
with our
bummer.
friends. Like
That
that is
is
the
a bummer.
only time we would go to
Yeah.
a lighthouse. And the only like fun thing that we would do, me and my friend Connor, we would go, and then in the lighthouses they usually have a sign at the bottom that says how many stairs are in the lighthouse.
Oh, yeah.
And we would double check to make sure. So we would go all the way up and count each stair to make sure that the sign was correct. So what I had for this challenge was actually try to have fun at the Barnegat Bay Lighthouse. Same kind of thing, Liberty Science Center. You just
yeah.
go, you do a whole day. Who do we think would have more fun in the lighthouse, the Malfoys or the Weasleys?
I mean, I think Lighthouse, whether or not you like them all, it feels like a family activity.
Sure.
That's true for both of us, whether or not we had fun or not. So I think the Weasleys are just going to have more fun just on their family trip, hanging
Okay.
out at the lighthouse. Like, what's Voldemort going to do at Lighthouse? He's
Yeah.
not going to like that at all.
Yeah. The only experience they have with towers is yeeting Dumbledore off the top, so I don't really know that they are aficionados. The other
God,
thing...
I so desperately want a New England remake of the Harry Potter films now where he falls off of a lighthouse. That would be great.
Yeah, the Weasleys probably have a fun time. They probably do a family photo. My dad would always do this thing where he would have all of the kids stand around in a circle, and then he would lay down on the ground in the middle of the circle and then take a picture up so that you could get all of our heads looking down and then the lighthouse in the back. And then one of our friends, one of the Delaney's, Murphy, she then went on a trip like later in life, like high school or college with her friends to DC, and they took a picture of the Washington Monument. She was like, oh, let's do one of those photos where we all like stand around in a circle and someone lays on the ground. And everyone's like, what the heck are you talking about?
I don't know if this is still there, but when I spent 1 year at a college in Missouri, and they did a photo of that, and it's
it's kind of a thing.
It's a kind of a thing, and it's for college. It's in their brand new fitness center. It got posted on the wall there, and like I haven't been to the state of Missouri for 15 years, so I wonder if it's still there.
Are you in the photo?
I'm in the photo.
At a fitness center?
Yeah, at a fitness center. I was not fit at that time either, so it's doubly ironic.
Well, that's great. Look
Yeah.
at you go. We'll have to see. And did they pay you to use this photo?
Oh, definitely
Of course not. I was in some promotional material for Rice University, and they still asked me to give to the funds.
Yeah, I was on the homepage of the website too in a different photo.
Come on, jeepers creepers, pay them for their work. All right, so now we have to pick what Malfoy's going home because they were not victorious. Remaining is Draco, Narcissa, Bellatrix, Snape, Uncle Voldemort, and Goyle.
Okay.
I would think that Goyle is a top candidate to leave because he's going to do whatever Draco does, and I feel like if anyone is going to be intimidated by Draco, they don't want him to basically have like a +1 vote.
Yeah. Are we creating a jury at some point? Is that going to be part of this?
Yes,
Okay.
juries do happen.
Okay.
Kelly, when do juries happen? Is it after the merge?
It's
Okay, cool. After the merge,
okay,
the jury
after
takes place.
Because I think Draco's going to want to keep
Goyle around
Goyle
because
around for the jury. So I just wanted to see if we're
So
having that.
he definitely wants him around. But are the other people
Yeah.
afraid of that? So that's why they
Right.
want to team up and get him
Yeah.
gone.
I don't know. I don't know what the person that I'm having the hardest time seeing an endgame strategy for right now is Narcissa.
The thing with Narcissa, she is loyal to Draco
Yeah.
and Draco alone.
Yeah.
So that could be a similar thing, just a relationship of if we're worried about Draco having people. I
Yeah.
feel like it would be between Goyle and Narcissa. Maybe what they do is, because you can do these sneaky things, maybe Bellatrix tries to talk to Draco and actually convinces him to send Goyle home, but in secret, she's actually plotting with the others to send Narcissa home instead. The more dramatic thing, and then Draco was floored.
Yeah, I think that would make sense.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, Narcissa is gone. Bellatrix pulls it off, and now Draco's angry. He's gonna want revenge.
Yeah.
So we have now 2 more tasks. I either need a 1 or a 6. 1, all right. Okay, here's a fun one. They just go and they have to do karaoke. The only stipulation is that it has to be a New Jersey-born musician. So the options are, Frank Sinatra and Queen Latifah and Bruce Springsteen and Bon Jovi. Whitney Houston, right, of course. The Jonas Brothers are from New Jersey?
Ooh. We invented the year 3000.
Let's go! I had no idea. That's amazing. So lots of New Jersey choices ahead of us.
Yeah.
Who do we think is really going to bring it to the table? Now, because it is a team task here, they can go all out. There can be duets. They can do whole team choir things. I personally feel like Evil Malfoy, these people are one for the theatrics.
Yeah,
Voldemort,
hold on.
the theatrics.
I fully agree. Also,
theatrics.
you picked a photo of both Draco and Voldemort with their mouths agape, as if they are just belting out a song. So I think it is them. Yeah.
Okay, can we think of any particular song? Like, what's going to be the powerhouse ballad?
I mean, Living on a Prayer feels like something
Fly Me to the Moon is a
Also
pretty
very
good suggestion.
Voldemort singing Fly Me to the Moon is very good.
Yeah.
And Draco singing Living on a Prayer also good.
I do, yeah, especially because Voldemort does fly in the seventh
Yeah.
book, and it's a big thing. And if he levitates during the final
yeah.
chorus,
Yeah.
that'd be really, really solid. Okay, so Team Malfoy is able to win the karaoke challenge, meaning that a Weasley has to go home. We've got Fred, Ron, Arthur, Molly, Charlie, Ginny, and George. Here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
They know the merge is approaching. We only have one more team task. I think this is the point when the team gets a little smart and they're afraid when it gets into solo mode. So I feel like they might try to vote Charlie, the challenge beast, out of there. As much as I love Charlie with all of my heart.
Here's I see where you're coming from. I think it's gotta be one of the twins.
Ooh.
Because they're gonna stick
Yeah.
together no matter what. So like
Okay.
I think they gotta get rid of one of them.
Okay. Do we think one Fred or George? Fred, a little bit funnier. George, a little bit more sentimental. Do we think either of those would be ostracized by the other group?
I don't know. I don't think there's a real at this point. They're just kind of getting rid of one of them.
Yeah.
Get rid of one of them.
I would lean towards Fred staying because with Fred being like, this person nodding vigorously in the front row gives me confidence. I feel like Fred would say because by being like, he's got the craftier jokes and one-liners, I feel like he's more of the silver tongue, can kind of like persuade the group to get George out of there. So I feel like I would trust him more to plead his case versus George.
Yeah, that makes
so
sense.
I think George would go. And that's fair because Fred dies in the book. So let's cut George the short end of the stick. So that means we can get into our final task. Can someone say 6? Thank you very much. Great. So this one is more Survivor meets The Amazing Race. They just have to get to the Statue of Liberty by any means possible. And let's start them all the way in the very, very south of New Jersey. And they got to get all the way up to the Statue of Liberty by any means, whether that is boat, train, car, seaplane, whatever. They just got to, as a team, work together, get to the Statue of Liberty, which is in New Jersey, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
Does the whole team need to get there, or is it just first one member of the team gets there?
I think the whole team has to get
okay.
there.
So like Voldemort can't just fly.
He can't, yeah.
Can't just take a dragon on the
No
team.
apparition. I think all of their, I think all the wands are gone.
Yeah, okay. Ooh, I don't know. I mean, you've got less people on the Malfoy team.
Yeah,
which
so
is a
less
benefit.
variables.
Yeah.
But you do have Arthur, who feels like he would know the different Muggle transportations.
That's true.
He'd be like, oh, NJ Transit, wow.
Yeah. But then you get stuck with the swiping, and you won't be able to get to go.
Yeah, I mean-
can't get out of this thing. The doors won't open.
And we've seen Weasleys have problems in train stations before. We've seen Weasleys have problems in cars before. So they might not be the most transportation savvy bunch.
Yeah, I mean, I think the numbers just help the Malfoys at this point.
Okay,
So,
yeah. No, I think it's valid. You only have
Yeah.
5 of them to worry about versus the 6 of the Weasleys, one less variable. And again,
I think it would be close, though. It would
Yes.
be close. It would be like a real nail biter. Maybe they get the lead at some point, but yeah.
yeah, they just like barely edge it out, and maybe whoever is last in the Weasleys draws the ire because now they have to go home and we have to vote one of them out. We've got Fred, Ron, Arthur, Molly, Charlie, and Ginny.
Is this the time that Arthur goes because his usefulness has maybe they've gotten them some wins, but like he didn't get them this win, and this was an important one.
Right.
We're almost at the merge. Yeah.
Maybe they're thinking, because again, the merge is happening. Maybe because there's 2 ends of the spectrum for challenges here. There's either the super brainy challenge, which Arthur would probably do well at, especially if it's Muggle themed, and then there's the big physical challenge that Charlie would do well at. So I feel like they're gonna go one direction of trying to get one of those threats out of here, either Arthur or Charlie.
Yeah.
Maybe we applause-meter it for who we think of those 2 would go home,
Yeah, let's
unless
do
you
it.
have strong
No,
thoughts.
let's do it.
Okay, if you think that the Weasleys would vote out Charlie Weasley, make some noise. Okay, if you think they'd vote out Arthur Weasley, make some noise. Okay, emphatic Arthur Weasley vote. He has been removed. And that means that the merge is happening. And as a recap, they're all going to be together. Now it's just everyone going all solo challenges. Here is who is left. Fred Weasley, Ron Weasley, Charlie Weasley, Molly Weasley, Ginny Weasley. And then on the other side, Draco Malfoy, Bellatrix Lestrange, Severus Snape, Uncle Voldemort, and Gregory Goyle. I feel like I heard some mumblings when I said Gregory Goyle. People were like, oh, he remembered his first name. Wow.
I sure didn't. Not surprising at this point.
So that also brings us to a very important point of the show where it's the end of Act 1. So I'm going to turn it over to Editing Mike. How's it going, everybody?
Hello there, past editing Mike. It's me, current editing Mike, and I will take over things now as we get into Wingardium Adridosa. So the main thing here is just a reminder that if you want to get access to all of the Potterless Patreon content that we ever posted, you can get access to all of it for just $4 a month if you go to patreon.com/Potterless. If you go to that link, you'll notice that Patreon is rebranded for my new podcast, the Percy Jackson podcast, The Newest Olympian, but there is a tier called, Oh, I Just Want the Potterless Stuff. And if you sign up for that tier, you'll get access to all of the Potterless Patreon posts, from bonus episodes to director's commentaries to monthly Q&A live streams to all sorts of fun goodies. You get it all for just $4 a month. Even if you sign up and then you consume all the content and then you leave within the same month, fine by me. Don't worry about it. You do whatever works the best for you, but that's all available to you for just $4 a month. And if you wanted some other Potterless digital downloads, we don't have any more physical merch, but we do have digital merch, and that's over at potterlesspodcast.com/merch. And then if you just want to see what I'm doing, you can go to my website, Schubs, schub.es. That's where you can learn about the other podcasts I make and the D&D stream that I'm doing 20 to midnight. There's lots of fun stuff going on there, so check that all out. And if you want to really stay in the loop with what's going on with me, you can find me on social media. I'm at Schubes17, SCHUBES17 on Twitter and Instagram. And if Potterless ever has more shows going on, I will always post about it on the Potterless social medias. That's Potterless Pod on Twitter and Potterless Podcast on Instagram. Maybe one of the live shows that I do is going to be streamed, so you can watch it no matter where you are. Just make sure you're following us on social media so that you don't miss announcements. It crushes my soul when people leave comments such as, Oh, I live in Chicago and I didn't know he was here until 2 days after the show. Like, I try to keep things updated as often as I can, and I do that very well on social media. I'm just not going to be able to post as much stuff here to the feed since I'm only posting about like every other month, but I think I'm going to get to the point where I'm posting Potterless episodes once a month now. Stay tuned on that, but I would love to make that happen. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode and the mid-roll break. Now, at this point, you're going to hear words from a few sponsors to make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of the ads will be read by me. Others of them won't. The ones that are not read by me are inserted locally, so they might be in your country's native language. And if any of those ads are from sketchy companies, I try to do my best to block all of that stuff beforehand, but sometimes they sneak through. Send an email to potterlesspodcast@gmail.com if any of them are weird, and I will get them shut down. But once those ads are complete, we'll get back to this episode of Potterless.
Right. Okay. Everybody have a good intermission? Sweet. I missed you all so dearly. Let's keep it going. We've got survivors to figure out who survives. Reminder of who is back. We've got Fred, Ron, Charlie, Molly, and Ginny, as well as Draco, Bellatrix, Snape, Voldemort, and Goyle. That is who remains as we get into now the solo tasks. So can someone say a number between 1 and 8? 8 is the first thing that I heard. Okay. So this is the first one. This is also inspired by field trips that I took. This is the first task where they have to go out of the state of New Jersey.
Uh-oh.
And they go into the inferior state of Pennsylvania. And they go to the worst part of Pennsylvania, the Amish country. Because that's where I went on my middle school tours, and they were, or on, so like, I want to say like first or second grade field trip. And it's just not fun. So the challenge here is that they have to go on like basically a first grade field trip to the Amish country, and whoever stays awake the longest wins.
Okay.
So last person to fall asleep is the victor and wins immunity. Who do we think would stay awake during a presentation in the Amish country where they churn butter and stuff?
Okay, I know that Goyle falls asleep first.
Yes. Yeah.
100%.
He's gone.
Yeah,
Ron gets bored. Fred gets bored.
Great that Arthur.
Arthur
got
would have
eliminated.
easily won
Yeah,
this.
exactly. I mean, that's why you do it before the merge. Ooh, I don't know. Ginny, maybe?
Charlie weirdly might be like super into it.
Yeah. I mean, the man looks like he's churned butter.
And
Yeah, I mean, would Voldemort be, like, he's into weird stuff.
here's the thing where Voldemort might enjoy it. Voldemort is, he feels like an old soul.
Yeah,
He is
yeah.
very old.
A return to tradition.
Doesn't wear shoes. Like,
True.
he's against the norms.
Yeah. Would probably love riding a scooter. The Amish ride a lot of scooters because it's quick. And it's not
Voldemort
electric.
big into I wish things were like they used to be energy.
Yeah.
I feel like he might have a kinship with
Yeah, I
folks
think
that
so.
aren't using technology. I think Voldemort.
I think Voldemort, yeah.
Voldemort wins. So Voldemort has immunity. Anybody else is up for grabs. Who do we think is going to get voted off?
I think, oh gosh,
And now it's just a free-for-all.
It's a merge,
Anybody
right,
can
so,
team
like,
up. It's
so we
merge. Yeah,
can
let me
have
move
alliance
Bruce
and-
away from the center in this
Bruce
PowerPoint.
is just kind of watching
and put
everything
everybody in the
happen.
middle. Shout out to Bruce, who is still there.
He's
Just doing
never
his
left.
hosting duties. Singing about what country he was born in, et cetera, et cetera.
I mean, Ginny hasn't done much so far.
But I think
Yeah.
she's scheming. Like,
Okay,
I feel like
okay,
she's
no,
puppet mastering.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
If we're looking at the number of, we absolutely perfectly 5 and 5 did. Dang,
Yeah.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
that's a
sometimes
shame. That is a
after the
shame.
merge, they'll try to
Yeah.
but that's not even going to happen. Voldemort's got immunity. He might try to make a little voting block to get out some of the Weasleys.
Yeah, I think a Weasley still would go.
Okay, that means one Weasley would have to join the evil voting block. I think Ginny would join and not tell
Oh,
anybody.
ooh.
Just to kind of plant some seeds. Like she is ready to
Yeah.
work an alliance with anybody.
And I think if she was gonna find a target, I think she'd go for Ron.
Yeah, I think so. Or would she keep Ron around because she thinks he's incompetent and doesn't perceive Ron as a threat? Maybe at this point, maybe Ginny is able to convince them to get rid of Charlie because
Okay.
Challenge Beast stuff.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
that's at least
and
like an easy sell.
Voldemort and Bellatrix are definitely being scared of him at this point.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
so,
I'm
so
with
Charlie
that.
has gotten
Yeah.
as sad as I am. Love Charlie, but alas.
Yeah.
Okay, can I get a number between 1 and 7? All right, 7, great, nailed it, cool. So this one, they go to specifically my friend's deli, Shirello's Deli, and they have to eat giant hoagies. Love a hoagie.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
All delicious stuff. They got to eat big, long, we're talking like Kobayashi versus Joey Chestnut, classic food eating challenge. Who can put down the most hoagies? Charlie would have been prime for this.
Yeah. I mean, excellent that he went home.
You know who can really put down food? Ronald Weasley.
Yeah.
I feel like Ron
Yes.
destroys.
No, it's 100%, it's
destroys.
100%
Okay.
Ron.
Okay, in that case, Ron, easy peasy. Ron wins, he gets immunity. They go home and vote.
Yeah.
Who's voting? Who's getting
Now,
voted off?
do we think in the days between the last challenge and this one, have they figured out that Ginny is the one that betrayed the Weasley family?
I don't think they figured it
You
out
don't think they
quite
figured it out?
yet.
Okay.
Maybe it'll come to light later, but I feel like Ginny played her cards right to where maybe she just had a little one-on-one in the side with Voldemort and was like, don't tell anybody, and I'll
Yeah.
be your,
I think right now, most of the time at this point, if you're like a sleeper, you can kind of sneak by those first couple. So I don't think Goyle's going out.
No.
I don't think Draco's going out.
Do you think, kind of like a little flip, do you think Draco tries to talk with Voldemort and/or Snape about maybe trying to get Bellatrix out of there? Because clearly
Yeah.
you're going to have someone want to take the reins of the evil camp and the evil voting block.
Yeah.
And maybe they're trying to decide between, maybe he can try to convince Voldemort, like, hey, Bellatrix is coming for the throne, and then try to get that out of the way.
Yeah, I'm with that. I think that
Okay.
makes sense.
So the Weasleys, along with some of the evil folks, team up and get Bellatrix out of there.
Mrs.
Okay.
Weasley leading that, obviously.
Yeah, Miss. Yep. Oh, she even writes on the voting off
It
slip.
was me.
It's just writes. Yeah, writes. Bellatrix, you B word. I will not be cursing because my Aunt Judy's in the crowd. But it's a quote from the book, so I didn't do it, Aunt Judy. It's not my fault. All right.
You already swore in the first act, man.
Did I? What,
You sure did. Yep.
Oh no.
You said the S word.
The S word. Could have gone worse. There's one worse word. All right. Now, Bellatrix is gone. Can I get a number between 1 and 6? I heard 2 quite loudly. So this one is, we're going now to the southern part of New Jersey. We're going to a place that I have only been once when I was in 7th grade. So I went for a Lynyrd Skynyrd concert. Very different than what normally goes here because Bruce pulls up in his pink Cadillac, of course, and everybody is in Atlantic City, New Jersey, which is the big gambling town.
I'm aware,
Okay,
yeah.
so they're in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
I've lived in this country my whole life. I know
Okay.
about Atlantic City.
Just making sure. Sometimes I worry, as we've seen with the, lighthouse photograph thing, like what is real and what was just my childhood.
Sure. Fair enough.
The challenge here is that they have to spend an entire night, like we're talking prom, post-prom lockdown thing. They have to stay in the casinos all night. whoever makes the least bad decisions, the fewest number of bad decisions in Atlantic City is the victor. Who has the least troublesome night in the gambling capital of New Jersey?
So the top 3, I'm gonna say Ginny's not gonna make a lot of bad decisions.
She's gonna win crap. Like, she's gonna be at the craps table
Yeah.
with 7,000
What?
chips.
What?
Like,
What? I mean, okay, but let's look. I mean, Goyle, a lot of bad decisions. He's
Goyle's gonna have a
kind of
rough
number-
one.
I mean, yeah. I mean, Ron, Fred.
I think Voldemort's gonna have a bad one because he's not gonna understand the rules of all of the games, and I feel like Voldemort's gonna like punch a slot machine.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what do
Yeah.
you mean 2 cherries? Blah. Like, he's
Yeah.
gonna take his anger out on him.
I would say the people most likely to win are Ginny, Draco, and Snape. I feel like they would
Okay,
make
okay.
This is like a city of sin. Not to like who would make the worst decisions in general, people. So yeah, I mean, I would say it's between the 3 of them. I would say Ginny. What are you thinking?
I think Ginny could be a powerhouse here. Just like, she's gonna still have a great night, but not step over too far.
Yeah.
She's gonna know when to walk away from the chips. She's gonna have a fun time checking out the different like activities that are more fun and entertainment based. I feel like Ron's gonna eat too much food. He's gonna be, very, very happily there. Fred has the tendency to get in over his head gambling. I feel like he would be running the risk. Molly, I just don't think she's gonna enjoy herself, and maybe she just gets agitated by all of the situation. Also, like, she's at a casino with all her kids. That's not a great brain space to be in. So yeah, I feel like Ginny could have a very fun time. She has a nice night.
Snape might just sit at the blackjack, and when they're like another, he's like always.
Yeah.
But he knows that blackjack has the statistic best odds, which is good. But yeah, I think Ginny overall.
Okay, so Ginny wins immunity by having the least bad night in Atlantic City, which I think is the best you can do. But I've never been there, so I can't really speak from experience. Now we've got the remaining folks here: Ron, Ginny, Molly, Fred, and then Draco, Goyle, Snape, and Voldemort.
I
Ginny's
think,
got immunity. Who's going home?
I think this is when Goyle goes home.
Yeah.
He's failed
Yeah.
2 of the individual challenges right
Ooh.
off the bat very
Yep.
quickly. So yeah, I think he's got nothing good going for him.
Right. At this point, they're not necessarily threatened by him, but I think the other people are really knowing that it's Draco's little companion, so we got to get him out of there,
Yeah.
and they're gone. The thing I do need to realize is that
Yes,
we
need
have
the-
to.
I was just gonna say, we
have
need
to
the
be
jury.
keeping track of our jury, which is Goyle, Bellatrix, and Charlie.
Let's hear another number.
Let's hear another
between-
number. 5. Great, that one works. 5. Okay, here's one that, again, this is a town that I heard about, never actually visited New Jersey, so this is purely off vibes. If this is incorrect, let me know, but this is just my understanding. They have to go to Cape May, New Jersey, and they have to go the longest amount of time without having a bad conversation with a white person wearing a sweater vest. That is my understanding of Cape May, New Jersey. I know, never been there. Purely vibes based on the people I know that would go to Cape May. Who do we think would be able to dodge around awkward conversations with people with like sweaters tied around their necks? I basically just think Cape May's Connecticut is where I have landed.
So what is the exact wording of the challenge?
I had this one the least fleshed out.
Okay.
But I'm thinking.
I'm just trying to figure out if Voldemort would have a good time having a racist conversation. Is that a win or a loss in this situation? I guess.
I think
question.
if you can assimilate into the crowd and hold your own in the town, you're okay. I think maybe you get eliminated if you have you get angry at the townsfolk in Cape May.
Okay, so Voldemort would, okay.
He'd have a great time.
Yeah.
So Voldemort's probably going to win immunity then.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
These are his people.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Voldemort's got immunity. We're now voting who has to go home. Remaining: Ron, Fred, Molly, Ginny, Draco, Snape, and Voldemort, who has immunity.
Ooh, this is getting tough.
Yeah.
I think now maybe is when Ron goes.
Yeah. I could see it.
He's done all right, but nothing spectacular. Maybe Fred.
This could be a stage where they try to vote out a threat because
that's a good point.
with the strong
Yeah, that's a good point.
with the strong trio of baddies and Voldemort's got immunity, they're maybe going to try to get one Weasley and maybe Ginny, because before she's established herself as like, I'll pop over to your side to get someone off a threat. Maybe Ginny says bye to Mom and sends Molly packing. Because look,
okay.
Molly, very powerful wizard, good with Muggle stuff too, crafty, smart.
You also want some Weasleys on the jury so that the other Weasleys have that chance of winning because like.
Yeah, Ginny knows that, like, Ginny ideally would like to have Weasleys on the jury and then go against, in the final, a non-Weasley. So Molly on her voting side. So maybe she, again...
Are we doing 2 in the finale or 3 in the finale?
We'll see, because it can either be 2 or 3, depending on the season of Survivor.
That's why I'm asking.
So we will play it just like the producers do, determine it based on who's left and what makes more drama for television.
All right.
Yeah, I think Ginny goes to the evil side and says bye to Molly.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm with
Molly into the jury and gone. And now we need a number between 1 and 8 that is not 2 or 5 or 7 or 8. 1. Cool. Thank you very much. Okay, this one, they go to Six Flags Great Adventure. And they all have to ride King to Ka, which is, I believe, is it still the tallest but not fastest? Got it. Tallest but not fastest roller coaster. I know Ohio's got the drag racer one.
Yeah.
And New Jersey was like, how do we make it an inch and a half bigger or whatever the difference is?
Cedar Point, America's roller coast.
So they have to ride King to Ka. Everybody rides it. You have to ride it as many times as you can. If you vomit, you're out. Who's got the best stomach? Who survives and doesn't vomit? Fred. You're right. Correct decision.
Yeah.
He would be the perfect person on a thrill ride. Yeah. Okay.
I heard someone say Ron. Ron can eat a lot, but I don't think he can always keep it down. I think Fred's done some weird stuff to his body and survived, and a roller coaster isn't anything for him.
Fred developed taffies that make you throw up on purpose.
Yeah.
He is so in tune with his own stomach.
Yeah.
Ron notably puked up slugs for a good portion of a full book. So I don't know that his stomach has ever recovered.
Yeah.
I feel like Ron is not going to do it. Fred, I feel like, is prime for this. So Fred has immunity. Remaining here, someone's going home. We have Fred, Ron, Ginny, Draco, Voldemort, and Snape. With Fred having the immunity power play, do we think that they band together and they try to get an evil person on to vote off one of the baddies? Again, we do kind of have Snape versus Voldemort.
I think this is when Voldemort might go.
Yeah,
because you can definitely because Snape. I mean, if we're talking about book Snape, then he's already secretly against Voldemort,
right? And
you can just manipulate Draco. That you spin that kid around and point him in any direction, he'll go that way. So I think Voldemort, he's set in his ways.
This is the prime time with like 6 people left. You gotta get the threat.
It's
if he's gonna win challenges.
It's a big power play.
All right, Voldemort.
And also, like with Fred as the person with immunity, like he's the perfect person to lead that charge because he's conniving and tricky.
Okay, I like it, and I think Voldemort is livid.
Oh, of course.
Like he's knocking stuff off as he leaves. He's kicking things.
The producers are like.
Yeah, he's yelling various things at Bruce Springsteen, who's like, what's going on? I'm just here because NBC paid me. Okay, so now we need a number between 1 and 8 that is not...
Wizard Survivor takes place on NBC.
Yeah, is it not?
It's usually on CBS.
Okay, sorry, the wrong 3-letter acronym one. I need either a 3, a 4, or a 6. 4 is the first thing I heard. Thank you very much. Okay, this one. Oh, man. Okay. This is one of the classic Survivor challenges where you just have to survive. You just have to outlast. There's ones where you just kind of have to stand on one leg on a really tall pole and not fall into the water or like hold something heavy above your head. This one, little different, more New Jersey, but only semi-New Jersey because most of the cast of this television program was not actually from New Jersey. They were just vacationing in New Jersey from Delaware and Virginia and other worse states.
That's right, The Office.
The contestants have to sit in a room and listen to a conversation by the cast of the documentary series Jersey Shore. And whoever can stay and not forcibly say, I gotta get out of here, whoever can put up with them talking about whatever it is they talk about, whoever can withstand this conversation the longest wins. We've got Ron, Fred, Snape, Ginny, and Draco. Who can put up with Jersey Shore garbage for as long as humanly possible?
Snape, yeah.
Why Snape?
He's dealt with these annoying kids for so long.
He hasn't dealt with it well, though. He does beef with teens.
Yeah, but it's the longest or the best.
It's truly just who can sit and not leave.
He's been at Hogwarts. He has been Defense of the Dark Art teacher for so long. He's put up with so much. He could outlast. He could outlast. I think it's Snape.
I think you're right. So Snape wins. Snape has immunity. From the remaining 5, Who do we think is sending home? The Weasleys do have the numbers.
They do have the
But
numbers.
Snape is going to be invested in trying to keep Draco on his side for some voting purposes. Do we think a Weasley goes home?
Snape's biggest threat at this point is probably Fred.
For
and
challenges,
Ginny.
I think it's Fred.
Yeah,
for connivingness, it's going to be
Ginny.
Ginny.
Yeah, it's Fred and Ginny, and like the final three right now. If you're a viewer at home right now, you're looking at those three. So I want to say he would be aiming towards one of those. So he probably get Draco on his side.
Yeah.
Could he get Ron?
Yes, because Fred and Ginny have both been rude to Ron a lot.
Yeah, yeah. So
Sometimes justified,
right? Yes.
but rude to Ron.
So who does he target? Who is the bigger threat?
I think at this stage,
Yeah.
he's probably more scared of someone winning challenges because he wants to get the challenge and then do immunity.
So yeah, I think he goes for Fred.
I think he goes for Fred because even if it's hubris, I think Snape thinks, Ginny, silly girl, she got possessed by a book. I can outsmart her.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to send Fred home. He's more worried about Fred.
I also think that he thinks that Ron and Fred are closer. So splitting
okay.
them up would be helpful.
Cool. All right. So Snape gets Ron over to his side and sends Fred home. Fred, unbothered. He doesn't care.
I think he could also even get Ginny potentially on his side for that vote. It'd be tough,
Maybe,
but he could do
maybe.
it.
We'll have to see.
Yeah.
So we've got the final four: Ron, Snape, Draco, Ginny, and we have just a couple of tasks left. Can I get either a 3 or a 6? 3, thank you. Okay, great. This is something inspired by what Kelly and I just did over the 4th of July on the Jersey Shore. We were down the Jersey Shore, we were at Seaside Park, Seaside Heights, and along the boardwalk, it's very good, there's this great frozen custard place called Coors. And they have the classic flavors, like you can get your soft serve swirl of vanilla and chocolate. They also have their trademark orange, which is really, really good, and you can do an orange vanilla swirl, which is kind of like a creamsicle.
nice, I like
The other thing that we didn't learn until a couple days left in the trip is that if you're walking along the boardwalk, there's multiple Coors spots. And it wasn't until later on that we realized that each one has a different specialty flavor and specialty swirl. So one of them had strawberry and banana, and then you could get strawberry banana swirl. One had mint vanilla, and you could do mint vanilla swirl. And then another one had raspberry and vanilla, and then you could do raspberry vanilla swirl. All very good. We didn't find that out until the number of days left equaled the number of flavor combinations we hadn't tried. So then it was like, we have to do it for science! So this
That
challenge,
was the hardest word problem I've had to follow since 5th grade, I think.
So in this challenge, because it's all along the same boardwalk, what they have to do, it's a mix of physical and eating. They have to run to one Coors location, get the swirl of the specialty flavor. Basically, they have to run and keep going up and down the Coors locations to where they've had every swirl combo. So basically, one chocolate vanilla, one orange vanilla, and then one of each of the specialty flavors at each of the Coors is all along the boardwalk. First person to make it all the way and eat them without hurling wins. The final four we have left: Ron, baby.
Yeah.
Ron, Ginny, Draco, and Snape. Do we think it's Ron? Great at eating, maybe not the most athletic.
Yeah.
Was able to be a goalie, but wasn't always the smoothest of foot. Ginny, reverse, very fleet of feet, but can she be fleet of eating?
That was good.
Thank you. Don't know that Draco or Snape ate literally anything across 7 books.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it's between Ron and Ginny.
Yeah. I mean, Ron did great on the last. I mean, he's an athletic enough guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's Ron. I think it's Ron.
Okay, I think Ron is able to do it, which is good for Ron. He has the immunity. As we have the final four, Ron can kind of bring in someone to knock someone off. Who does he work with to get someone out? There's Ginny, Draco, and Snape left other than him.
He likes Ginny the most, obviously, because sister. But, he doesn't like Snape.
No.
But he also really doesn't like Draco.
I think he really doesn't like Draco.
Yeah.
And with Ron in the power position, he's not thinking of strategy. He's just thinking, who do I hate the most?
Yeah.
Draco Malfoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Draco's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We get into the final 3. We do have one challenge left, so I think we'll do a challenge and then we'll get into the final 2.
Okay.
So can someone say number 6? Thank you very much. 6. This one is inspired by things that I heard adults complain about when I grew up in New Jersey that I've never experienced. And Kelly came close to experiencing it, but not. I understand that driving on the Jersey Turnpike is not the most fun. And I've done it. I had to do it today. And we also drove on the Parkway. Do I know the difference between the Jersey Turnpike and the Garden State Parkway? No. Are they maybe the same thing with different names? Couldn't tell you. They're in New Jersey. They're highways. You drive on them.
Speaking of which, we need to get changed.
We do have to get changed. Oh, gotta tell you about the coolest shit that happened today. Sorry for saying the S word, Aunt Judy. We were driving on the Garden State Parkway.
That sounds right.
Yeah, and we got to a point on the pole where you had to pay the exact change of 70 cents, which was very specific.
Which was
no
also
bills.
confusing because up until then, we've gotten a ticket and then given the ticket to a person. This one is just like, you owe us money now, surprise.
And we had gone to one before where you were able to give them money, but it was just $2. I was like, that's nice and even. But then we got to this other thing, and it was like 70 cents. Well, because at one point it was 5.05, we had a bunch of change back. Basically, we had 60 cents of coins. Exactly 60 cents of coins based on the other tolls that we had paid throughout our drive.
10 cents
we
short.
10 cents. Otherwise, we're going to have to get ticketed, and I'm driving my friend Stephen Parra's car, and it's registered to his parents. I don't want a bill to go to Stephen Parra's parents because of him being nice to lend me his car. So we're thinking, oh my God, we need a dime. Let's see if Stephen has any coins. Nothing in the cup holder, nothing in the little front thing. We open up the middle console, and the shiniest dime I've ever seen is in there amongst like headphone replacement buds and a couple masks and some hand sanitizer and stuff, and then just one single dime. There's no other currency in the middle thing. There are no bills, there are no quarters, nickels, pennies, nothing. One single dime. The eruption of applause from the three of us in the car, incredible. Take it, throw the coins in, and scream enjoy.
This experience has been great, but the dime is going to be the best part of the day.
It's like, I knew that nothing could ruin the day when that happened. Anyway, Jersey Turnpike, what they have to do, I've heard that missing your exit is the worst thing, right? Okay. And I learned to drive in Texas where you could miss your exit about 17 times and be okay, because it's all highways with just all the different turns and feeders and exits. Like, you can keep missing your turn a lot, but my understanding from overhearing adults at parties is like, oh, I missed the exit and it added 15 minutes of time. Grumble, grumble, grumble. And I was like, I'm 12. What are you talking about? So what has to happen here is that they are driving, and then what happens is at some point, intentionally, they have to miss an exit, but then still get to their destination in the fastest amount of time. They're all driving pink Cadillacs. Who do we think would do the best of driving? We've got Ron, Snape, Ginny.
No, Ron is the only one that's driven a car.
That's true!
But poorly.
Yeah, but still.
So he definitely would miss an exit.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Ron,
Wow, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think Ron wins
it makes sense, yeah.
And then he knows that if he goes against Ginny, he might lose because people would vote for him. So I think he might intentionally vote off Ginny to take Snape with him to the finals because he's confident that enough people don't like Snape that he wants to square off against Snape against the jury.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay, so Ron with a sneaky move.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what happens.
Us.
It's good television.
That's what the characters decided.
Look, don't blame us. Blame this JPEG of Ron Weasley.
I do like that you pick like mostly later pictures of all of them, but you did pick Ron in like
the Ron photo is when he looks at Harry weird the first time in the train, because that's just peak Ron Weasley, just such a great look. So it's now just, there's no challenge. It's just make your case to the jury. Yeah. Our jury does consist of, and let me just move it so it's side to side. Our jury does consist of 4 Weasleys and 4 evil folk, where we've got Fred, Molly, Charlie, Ginny, and then we also have Voldemort, Draco, Bellatrix, Goyle. Yeah. Voting for who they want to win between Ron and Severus Snape. I feel like it's gonna come down to just like a swing vote.
Yeah.
And I feel like the Weasleys, especially because Fred would probably think he could bully Ron into sharing the winnings with him. I feel like the Weasleys are gonna be pretty set on voting for Ron. I don't know that they would really want to vote for, like, Weasleys and Snape, not a lot of good vibes.
I also think like if we're thinking about it more survivor-based than book-based.
Yes.
Ron has played a slightly better game. He's won some of those challenges, but Snape has won the challenge recently as well.
But Ron won the driving one, he won the ice cream one, he won the hoagie eating one. Yeah. He's got the challenge stuff.
Yeah, that's
true.
He
just pulled a conniving move to get Ginny out, so maybe some of the baddies just respect that.
Yeah.
Maybe Voldemort's like, I appreciate the craft. Like, maybe he's really into it.
Yeah.
And Snape had kind of screwed over some of these people.
Yeah.
So maybe if anyone's going to hold a grudge, it would be the Malfoy folk. maybe one of those would go over to Weasley's side, vote for Ron. And maybe it's kind of like they would be more along the lines of, if I can't have the winnings, no one can, sort of situation.
Do we want to go through each member of the jury and talk about who they'd vote for?
Yes, yeah, and then we can also applause-o-meter to determine it that way.
So Ginny's voting for Ron, no doubt about it.
Right, do we all agree Ginny voting for Ron? Okay, nods of approval.
Molly definitely voting for her own
Oh my God, of
child.
course, yes.
Without a doubt.
Charlie...
Yeah.
Right. We don't no sort of reason to tell us no.
Yeah.
Fred, is he gonna stick to the bit or is he gonna vote for Ron? Silence from the crowd.
Ooh.
I feel like Ron.
Okay, Ron.
Okay. So Ron has the tie. Now here's the thing. Goyle. Don't think he likes Ron. Do we think?
He's voting for Snape.
So okay, Goyle.
Draco's definitely voting for Snape.
Snape. Okay. Bellatrix. Ron.
Why Ron?
Why?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Snape?
She
Okay.
did really hate him with the whole unbreakable vow and everything.
Yeah.
Snape did work to get her out. Yeah. Okay.
And then Voldemort.
Voldemort?
Ooh.
Ron. Okay.
Yeah, I think because he does, despite his extremely bad and abusive behavior, he does actually like the kids.
Voldemort?
Oh wait, no, I was thinking about
You're
Snape.
thinking of Snape.
I got completely thrown off somehow.
Voldemort is voting.
Sorry. I heard the last name I heard was Snape, and then I forgot what we were doing for a second. Yes, Voldemort does not like the kids.
No.
Don't take that out of
But
context.
I feel like Voldemort would he's going to have the prejudiced view of, if it wasn't for Snape, I should be here.
Yeah.
I would have won. If Snape would have gotten his crap together, I would be okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he also clearly, Ron is a pureblood. Very
That's
good.
also very
Yes,
good.
thank you. Snape is not. Wow. Yeah, right. You're right. Voldemort's just racist and votes for Ron. So that means, Ron is the winner of Wizard on Survivor New Jersey.
6-2.
Wow. A stunning victory for Ron. Amazing. Fantastic.
Hey there, me editing Mike just one more time. Since this is a longer episode, we're going to take one more ad break for some of those locally inserted ads where some of them are read by me and others of them are not read by me. And once those are complete, we'll do the Q&A, which was very fun, and we will conclude this episode of Potterless.
Well, we do have time to do some Q&A. Here we go. First question, just picking it out of random, is from longtime listener of the show, Kelly Beckman Schubert.
He did randomly pick it. Like, it was amazing, but he just picked one and clicked.
The subject line, all caps. Wish I could be body surfing on the Jersey Shore. Kelly had a great time at the Jersey Shore. Loved body surfing. My dad, Joel, is the wizard of body surfing, where you just kind of like boogie board, but you don't need a board. You just kind of like swim, catch a wave, and just go like this, and then you can ride all the way in. My dad's very good at it. I finally truly have mastered it recently, which makes me feel very cool, and like I'm making my father proud. Kelly caught one of her first waves, and we were both together on a wave. She was so happy that I was like trying to scream like, Kelly, we're doing it, but she was just like ear to ear smile like, yeah! Then we found a boogie board, and she was boogie boarding, had a great time. Kelly had a blast. Wanted to be in the ocean at any point in time. When it was high tide and the waves weren't good, she didn't want to accept that the waves weren't good for it. It was a blast. So, couple of questions. Kelly says, hello, Mike, from your wife, in all caps, and Aunt Judy. First of all, Aunt Judy said, you're wonderful 50 times. Thank you, Aunt Judy. So are you. Now, this first question is for Eric. What is your favorite lighthouse that you have visited? Yeah. And do you have a dream lighthouse that you hope to visit one day?
Ooh. Favorite lighthouse, probably Cape Hatteras. Cape Hatteras is in, as I said earlier, Outer Banks. It's a cool lighthouse. It's very tall. I think it might be the tallest, but it's also, because of erosion, they've had to physically move the lighthouse inward 2 times now, I think, which is just cool. Dream lighthouse, probably the lighthouse from The Lighthouse, the movie.
Okay.
I don't know if that's even a real lighthouse, but it's a real cool place. I'd love to go wherever that is.
Amazing. I look forward to your future Lighthouse podcast.
Yeah.
So this one is from me. Kelly says, if you could design a pair of sneakers, what would they look like? Oh, that is really nice. If I had to design a pair of sneakers.
Gotta have soles.
Yes.
Laces.
They would have, yes. All of the key features that make a shoe would be there. I feel like I would go with a shoe. What would be nice is if you had a shoe kind of like this. I like the shoe, got fun colors and stuff going on. It was part of my outfit, which was me just trying to look as much like our wild-ass state flag as possible. I am wearing socks that have the state flag on them. Shout out to the time I had to draw that in 3rd grade, and I was like, "Wah!" I feel like I would go, my high school basketball shoes had these. They were Adidas, where, you know, Adidas logo's got the 3 stripes. They came with like a big plastic insert thing where you could take out the 3 stripe thing and then change the color. And it came with like 20 different colors.
Yeah.
So I feel like, because the problem with getting fun colored shoes is like, if it's particular shoes, it's not gonna work with every outfit. So I feel like I would just pick some sort of shoe where you could do some, you know, maybe mostly a white shoe, but then certain parts you could switch in and out the thing. So rather than have to buy multiple shoes, you could just buy one shoe and then do little things that look good based on whatever the rest of your outfit is.
That's nice.
And that's
like
my
that,
thought.
yeah.
Thank you for your question, Kelly. Okay, this next one is from Jackie, all caps. It's pork roll is the subject. Jackie says, which New Jersey university would be the most like Hogwarts? Now, key factor is that I moved when I was 14. So I have no idea anything about any of the New Jersey universities, except for Stevens University, which I toured, and Rutgers University, where my parents attended. Just based on the vibes of the campus being cool and kind of old school looking, I'm gonna guess Stevens University, and I have no legitimate reason other than the buildings were kind of old.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Oh, you're right. Oh my God, you're so right. It's Princeton. You're right. Oh my God, it's Princeton. You're right. You're right. Oh, it's so Princeton. You're so right.
I was gonna say I thought one of them was here, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, the problem with Princeton was that I just knew I wasn't getting in, so I didn't even bother. They had you had to take a foreign language for 4 years, like just to qualify to send in an application. I was like, oh my God, I only took Latin for 3 years in high school, not 4. Can't do this. So yeah, I didn't even bother applying. Shout out to Princeton though for letting me brag about how cool New Jersey is when I moved to Texas. Okay. This one is from Solana and Ben. Say, hey, Mike and Eric, which Harry Potter character would win in the Great British Bake Off?
Ooh.
I feel like Molly would be a powerhouse.
Yeah. I mean, she does the most cooking.
Yeah, I know Queenie in the Fantastic Beasts series bakes and stuff too, but I don't.
I've seen those.
Yeah, I mean, she also turned into a whatever the early version of Death Eater is, like really quickly, so I don't really trust her that much. I think Molly would probably be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Hagrid, not so much.
No,
but he would
not.
really put in the effort. He'd be a fan favorite.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Molly. Next question. As you know, acting legend Danny DeVito is from New Jersey. Did know this. What would his animagus be? I would just say it's got to be Phil from Hercules, right?
Oh, see, I mean, I was thinking penguin.
Oh, the penguin. Oh, a penguin. Yeah, also penguin. A very good answer. Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, this is from Taylor Payne. Makes the subject line, Central Jersey is real. Thank you, Taylor, speaking the truth. Question for the Q&A. What BTS bias would each of the main trio have is the first question. Are you familiar with BTS? I
understand what the question is.
Okay.
I don't know how to answer it.
All right, I'm gonna pull up a photo of BTS for you, and I will give you fun facts about all of them, and we can choose. And I can tell you the fun personalities.
Yeah, they recently gave a press conference at the White House for some
reason.
Did. That was interesting.
I wish they were doing a coup. Now, it would be great if they were in. That'd be great. I'm down for it. Okay. So here's BTS.
Yeah. Okay. I know these boys.
We'll go from left to right. We have V. He is the most suave. He's got big, like, your grandpa with great style energy. Very smooth.
So a bias just means which one do I like the most?
The bias, your BTS bias is who is your favorite. So we're picking of the main trio, who would their favorites be.
Yeah.
Suga is here. He is the best, in my opinion, the best rapper. Very, like, intense lyrics, very, like, introspective.
So
also
far,
plays basketball. Now we also have Jin, who is the funniest. Very good, high falsetto type singing. Very good singer. We have Jungkook, who's just the best at everything. I think that's going to be Harry Potter's favorite, just because Jungkook, like, he's incredibly attractive, very good at singing, can rap, can dance. He's perfect. He's perfect. Yeah. We have RM, who is the leader of the group. He is he's the most fluent in English, so he always takes more of the interview questions and stuff. Very good rapper, writes most of the music, so he's very, like, businessy and stuff. I feel like Hermione might like him because he's like running the ship. Jimin is the best dancer. He's my favorite, best dancer by far. So talented. And then J-Hope is just like the most fun-loving. He's very good at rapping, very high energy, good at dancing, like brings the hype, very energetic.
I mean, I think Ron would like one of those last two. I think he would like the dancing guys.
Okay, like, maybe. Yeah, I could see Ron being a big fan of J-Hope, high energy, all kinds of stuff like that. He also might like. No, he wouldn't like Jin because he doesn't like the goofiness of Fred and George. So
that's a good point.
Yeah. Hermione, I feel like she would like RM. She would respect that he takes the leadership role and has all of his stuff together. And then I think Harry's gonna like Jungkook because Harry's like, I'm the main character. Jungkook is the main character. Yeah, he's perfect. Yeah. That would be that. Great.
I nailed that.
You nailed it. Now here is the second question: who would win in a fight, Jeff or Bruce?
Ooh. Jeff Probst.
Jeff Probst or Bruce Springsteen.
I mean,
I feel like Bruce, at least old school Bruce, like maybe in better shape, but Jeff has seen so much. Like he's seen so many dirty tricks. He's done like 40-something seasons of Survivor.
44, I think.
That's so many.
Yeah.
I feel like he might know some weird, like crafty, like one of those weird, like MMA hold things where he like grabs your ankle and then your foot can't move anymore, or like grabs your elbow
Also, like,
and then
he looks unbelievable. Like he's a lot older than you would guess.
he's aged so well.
Yeah, it's wild. So I would say Jeff.
I think Jeff, but just in craftiness.
Yeah, in their if they were both the same age and both like in their prime
Yeah, we're
athleticism,
talking
I think like
prime both of them.
we're
Prime
talking
Probst, prime Bruce Springsteen.
See, I was thinking current.
Oh, I think it's got to be prime,
Really?
so that
Okay.
age is not the thing.
Okay.
It's purely
Then,
just
yeah,
at their peaks.
Yeah, I guess because Bruce, I just feel like is a brawler. So I do think the tactician out of Jeff might take the lead.
Yeah, he's going to outsmart.
It'd be close, though.
It's like when Rocky fought Clubber Lang the second time in Rocky 3,
yes.
and he outsmarted him
The best one.
into fighting him. Oh, Rocky 3 is your
No,
favorite?
no.
Okay.
No.
It is very good. Okay. This question is from Mia. Mia says, "Hi, Mike. My name is Mia, and I'm a Gryffindor. My question is, what was your most embarrassing moment during a live show?" I did a show in Atlanta where ticket sales were doing really well, so I had commissioned a videographer to like take a bunch of behind-the-scenes video and stuff that I used for some like video promos on social, and I was like really trying to make sure that this show would be well documented. Had the videographer, and I like wore like my favorite outfit, and there was a bunch of ticket sales, so I was like, oh, cool, like the laugh track will be loud and the audio and all this stuff. And then before we took the stage, I was supposed to hit record on the recording device, and I forgot to hit record on the recording device because there was just so many like factors and stuff going on. I did remember to do it for Act 2, but Act 1 is just like lost to the annals of time. So Johnny and I went back to our hotel room, turned on the recording thing, and then just like tried to recap the show as best as we could from our memories in the hotel room. And we got it all there and like remembered all of our very good jokes and stuff. But yeah, it was just embarrassing that I was putting so much effort into being like, this is going to be the show that's very well documented. And then I forgot to hit the record button.
Yeah. I mean, I said Voldemort loved the kids earlier. That's got to be up there. Also, I could not figure out which one was Charlie and which was Bill.
Thanks. It's all good. It's fine. This one is from Maggie. Maggie says, "Love the podcast, and I wanted to thank you for being vocal in your support of the trans community and vocal against JK's awful turfy views. I'm not all caught up on the pod. Hey, no need to clap. The bare minimum that I could do is call her out. Happy to do so. I'm not all caught up on the pod, but if you haven't already, would you ever do an episode on that on the pod?" We kind of did in that I didn't want to do a dedicated episode to it because I didn't want people to skip it if they were the type of person that didn't want to hear it. So I just sprinkled it into every episode for about 20 consecutive episodes and got a lot of 1-star reviews. And then we did have Jackson Bird on to talk about Potter Puppet Pals, and in the first 20 minutes, I basically just asked Jackson Bird, who's a trans man, "Hey, from your perspective, you explain why this is so bad?" And it was wonderful and very helpful. If you ever just like need to describe why if any of your relatives ask what's going on with trans folks, cannot recommend enough listening to that 20-minute thing of Potterless or Jackson Bird's 5-minute TED Talk, which is just all about how to talk about it in a non-bad way. Yeah. Great stuff. Jackson Bird, great. A+ human.
Lovely.
Now, recommends ContraPoint's video about J.K. Rowling. That one, an hour and change. So if you have 5 minutes, Jackson Bird. If you got an hour, ContraPoints.
Yeah. Now, one of the shorter ContraPoints videos, honestly.
So, it says, "ContraPoints is a trans woman who breaks down JK's turf stuff in a really well-done video essay. Could be a good springboard for a Potter's episode or anything." Oh, not a question, just a suggestion. Thanks for the suggestion, Maggie. So, yeah, good stuff. So this is from, is it Shirag? Am I saying your name? Okay, cool. So Shirag says, "Hey, Mike, what Quidditch player would you be if you were playing the sport?" I think I would be the keeper because I didn't play a lot of soccer growing up, but when I did, I was the goalie. And then when I started playing soccer again, which was intramurals in college and then with a work team, I like to be the goalie because I don't have all the soccer technical skills, but I have enough athleticism to dive in front of moving objects. So goalie worked out well for me. I also like goalie because you can kind of like point out stuff and like help people out and then also talk a lot of trash, which I love to do.
He does.
Goalie would be for me. So I guess keeper would then be for me. What about you if you were playing Quidditch?
What were all the positions? Are they bludgeoners?
You have close. You have the beaters who hit the bludger balls, which is kind of like the defensemen.
Yes.
And then you have the chasers who are kind of more of the offense. They're kind of like forwards in soccer. And then you have the seeker, who's the most important person, and usually the main character, that tries to catch the snitch, the only part of the sport that matters.
Okay, I would say I'm the main guys with the bats.
Okay, yeah. I feel like you would be a nice beater.
I'm simply not quick enough to do the snitch. Can't catch it.
Right.
No way. But yeah, I think you give me a bat, I can hit some stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so this one, I can't believe I'm opening this because this one says Taylor ham greater than pork roll. It's not Taylor ham. Why are you simping for a brand? It's pork roll. So this is from Shannon Turner, who is a proud Raven Puff. Hey, Mike, who from Harry Potter do you think would fit well into the Percy Jackson trio / crew? Big fan of all your podcasts. So this is a fun one. This is a fun way to end it because we're linking the two shows that I'm, most known for. Now, have you read the Percy Jackson books?
I have not.
You have not. Okay.
I saw the first movie a long time ago,
Okay,
so I'm not going to be able to be much help here.
I have heard that it's really bad.
Yes.
I have
Yeah,
not
yeah.
seen it yet. Now, if I'm trying to think about who from Harry Potter would fit well, I feel like Hermione would fit in pretty well. Very brainy, and especially looking into the trio of Percy Jackson, that Annabeth is very planning heavy, but she is also quick on her feet and stuff. They don't truly have just like dedicated brains of the operation, so I feel like Hermione could kind of slot into that role, and she's not as strong with like fighting and action stuff, so she could kind of plan and then let them do all of the dirty work sort of stuff. So I think that would be a very good fit. I know it's hard for you because you haven't read, but just anyone that would do well in like Greek mythology type setting. They have to fight some folks, some swordplay in the mix.
I mean, do we want it to be like one of the children, or could we even include
anybody at all?
I mean, I could see like Hagrid being an interesting, like weird mentor type guy in the maybe in a more effective role in that world that he is in Harry Potter.
Well, we do have giants. There's Cyclops in the second book, so there are some really big folks abound. So that makes sense. Yeah, I could see that. I could also see
probably Voldemort. He loves kids.
Be a good villain. Yeah, it'd fit in. Go in there right. Well, someone though that I think would do really, really well is I think that there's a character in Harry Potter who is someone that is incredibly lovable, has a wonderful hero's arc, and is great with a sword. It's Neville Longbottom. I think Neville Longbottom would do really well.
Sense, yeah.
He has a wonderful arc, did great snake beheading with a sword, and I'm sorry? Okay, cool. But I think he would do really well. I feel like he would be very dedicated to reading all of the books. There's lots of like history that they have to know and study. And Neville's like a very dedicated, studious student. Even in potions class, when the teacher was actively hating on him for no good reason at all, he still found a way to try to do his best in potions. I think Neville would do a fantastic job in the Percy Jackson world, where the teachers are a little bit better. Chiron is more of a mentor and less of a person that beefs with you for no good reason. Why, Snape? Like, the Harry one kind of makes sense, but Neville, what are you doing? You know that Neville's parents have gone through horrible stuff, and Neville's got a really tough past. Just leave him alone.
Leave the man alone.
Leave him alone. Yeah. Well, that is a wonderful note. All of our love of Neville to end the show on. First, let's give a big round of applause for Eric for being our guest today.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Also, round of applause to all of you for coming out. Thank you so much. That is so fantastic. Also, big shout out to everybody at the House of Independence, from Jim, working hospitality and the sound, to Taylor, who did the lights, everybody else involved.
Beautiful.
Everyone from start to finish made this a very smooth process, so shout out to all of them. Yes. Round of applause to Kelly and Aunt Judy for coming through. But shout out to all of you for coming through. I truly, truly appreciate it. This has been such a fun time. I'm so glad I could come to the great state of New Jersey, and hopefully I can come back. Maybe I'll do a TNO show in the future. We'll have a fun time talking about some Percy Jackson folks. So yeah, thank you all so much. I'm gonna clean up my mess that I made here and then head backstage, but I'm so thankful to you all for coming out. I hope you had a nice night. And as they say in the wizarding world of Harry Potter, before they take a big old bite out of a big old pork roll, egg and cheese sandwich on a hard roll, Wizard on! Thank you so much for coming out, everybody!
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Potterless. Potterless was created by Mike Schubert. It is hosted by Mike Schubert. It is edited by Mike Schubert. It is produced by Mike Schubert. And I also want to give a shout out to our production intern, Aaron Burke, who helped out with this episode. And then, of course, the music is by Bettina Campamanes. I pretty much said everything that I want to say in the intro and in the mid-roll. And at this point, I really just want to thank you. I'm very appreciative that you are here listening to these episodes, even though the podcast hasn't been posting as much. I really appreciate you sticking around and listening all the way through. That's really cool. It's nice that there is still a Potterless community out there. I still have so much fun with folks that are talking about the show online. It's always fun that folks are finding the show. People just find the podcast by word of mouth or whatever it is, and they start from episode 1 in the year 2023, even though those episodes are becoming 7 years old now, which is absurd. So I'm just so thankful to have this community and having new folks come into the community all the time. It's really fun. It's a good time. And if you want to hang out with us in the Discord, we're having a great time there with the Noose Olympian. There's still Potterless chats stuff going on there. So if you join the TNO Patreon at any of those tiers, you can hang out with us there, and it's super fun. But all in all, I'm just very appreciative that so many people did listen to the show and so many people continue to listen to the show and continue to support me. It warms my heart, and I really very much truly appreciate it. So thank you so much for listening. We will be back hopefully in just about a month. I would love to get to the point where I can post these live show episodes once a month. That would be fantastic, and I'm trying to work towards that goal. Hopefully we can make it happen. But thank you so much, and until next time, as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Wizard on!